Friends, welcome to the Esplanade, Redondo Beach, California. We're making our way over there to Palos Verdes, California. We haven't done a round-the-block review ever there. We actually did drive around there in some previous episodes, but nothing like this. So let's do so in the 2017 Hyundai Elantra ECO. Shall we? Okay, so as we make our way up the hill here from Redondo Beach and Torrance Beach, this little sliver of Torrance that makes its way to the ocean, let's talk about some of the differences between this Elantra and other Elantras. So you and I already did a tech review and a full first drive review of the 2017 Elantra. That is a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine that puts out 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque. This kind of reverses the numbers, but is a completely different engine. It's the 1.4 turbocharged engine. So big difference here. This is forced induction, where in the regular Elantra, that is an Atkinson cycle. So it's focused on efficiency, but still is a little bit of a bigger displacement than this. But the numbers are significantly different. This is only 128 horsepower, comes in at a relatively high engine speed of 5,500 RPM, but much more interesting to us is the torque. It's 147 pound-feet of torque that comes in at a stupidly low engine speed of 1,400 RPM, stays flat all the way up to 3,700 RPM. Now, this is not a car we're going to take to the canyons, which is why I've chosen to come out here. So here we're going to come to like the bottom of like a little hill here, and let's come to a complete stop in a very nice neighborhood. Probably most people here wouldn't own a Hyundai Elantra. Actually, maybe I'm wrong. These people own 2 Honda Accords and a Kia. So maybe they would own a car like this. So let's dead stop, put our foot into it. Now let's go to the regular mode and let's put our foot into it, go up here. Makes a hell of a lot of noise, but what a difference, and actually that's a stop sign, so let's slow down here. Do not try this at home. What a difference this is over the regular Hyundai Elantra, which takes a while to build up power. Like, for example, that torque comes in at something like 4,800 RPM. So right there, I would actually choose this over the regular Elantra simply because it's got a little bit more grunt. Now let's try this again, but let's switch to, there's a sport mode here, which it's very strange to have a sport mode in an eco car, and here's someone that has an Audi, so they probably wouldn't buy a Hyundai Elantra. Let's put our foot into it, and this is just a dead straight on a flat road. If I'm honest, there really isn't a difference. You know what? I will tell you where the difference is. I've been driving this car now. Oh, it's pulled its eye, so let's slow down. Actually, no one was in there, but good thing there was no one in there. Let's go back to regular mode. Okay, let's try a use case where I do notice a difference. So we're coming to a 4-way stop here. Granted, this one is not that busy, but the thing I want to point out here is we've got a slight incline over there. Let's say for the sake of discussion, I didn't have a protected stop. So I'm going to go out into the intersection here, and let's say there was someone coming at me real quick here, but I wanted to get in front of them. If I'm in eco mode, which I am now, and I come from a dead stop, I want to put my foot into it, there's a little bit of a delay in the throttle mapping when you're in the eco mode. Sport, you really don't get that. And I would say that delay, yeah, I totally understand that the throttle mapping is set up to deliver the best fuel economy it can, which in this case is 32 around here, 40 on the highway, which with a combined of 35. That's great and all, but I would give up a little bit of MPG for a situation like that to just be a tad bit safer. Someone who doesn't really know the car very well could have a bit of a problem there. Okay, so now we're back on the lower main road of the Palos Verdes Peninsula here. Good opportunity for us to focus on one of the other bigger changes, and that is the transmission. So in that Elantra, regular Elantra first drive review, what we had there was a 6-speed automatic. Now there is a basic model that they offer with a manual transmission, but not the limited fancy like uber-duber model that we drove. That one's only automatic. This one's only automatic, but it's different in that you get another gear, so it's 7 gears, but more importantly, it's a dual clutch transmission. Now there are 2 things that stand out about this transmission. Number 1, Hyundai is the one that designs and manufactures this transmission. It's not something that's designed and manufactured by, say, Getrag and then sold to Hyundai. This is something they've decided to take in-house, and the idea is to pair with their own engines and to drive fuel economy, but still have a balance, and this is the second point, of driving dynamics. So when it comes to driving dynamics, we've talked about the spectrum and how Hyundai's kind of sit down here. This is really no different because the setup is exactly the same as the regular Elantra. But I would argue the driving dynamics are completely different with this transmission as opposed to the regular 6-speed automatic. Like, for example, there's going to be a couple of turns coming up here. Now, I don't have paddle shifts, obviously, but I can shift here and there. But the big difference in terms of a car that is focused on fuel economy is A, there's more gears. Now B, they do set the transmission, all the mapping is designed to get higher fuel economy, so it shifts very, very quickly. But if I go into sport mode, which I am in right now, and I come around this turn here, it actually downshifts and stays downshifted. So there is a little bit more composure going around this turn because the transmission, frankly, is a better unit, and it has a much better chance at picking a more optimal gear going around a turn, or let's like in this case, now I'm going to slow down a little bit. Now let's put our foot into it and then go up the hill. You can hear it. It's holding the gear a bit longer and allowing the car, the engine to rev, even though this is the Eco, granted, sport mode. So all of this, granted, is it bits that are driving dynamics, like suspension pieces that we talk about in driving dynamics parts of our episodes? No. But the character of this transmission changes the car so drastically that I'm going to kind of go out on a limb here and say I would actually choose this over the regular Elantra any day because I like the combo of the turbo engine and this 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now let's put aside the transmission. The rest of the car, there isn't a huge difference. It basically has a badge that says Eco, but they do something interesting which I don't necessarily agree with, in that this only comes kind of one way. There's a good amount of stuff in here. Like, it's got a blind spot warning system, automatic climate control, height adjustable seats, it's got a heated seat, it's got all sorts of stuff, and now Apple CarPlay. All Hyundais now are coming with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which I'm very happy about. And most importantly about this version of Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, the speech recognition is a gazillion times better than it is in some of the, like the Volkswagen, their speech recognition is not as good as the Hyundais. Just a noticeable difference across places like here where there's virtually no coverage, otherwise I'd demo it for you. Wait a minute. On second thought, when there's very little coverage, that is an optimal time to test the voice recognition. So let's send a text.
Who shall I text?
Billy Brenner.
What do you want to say to Billy Brenner?
What's going on in New York?
Your message is, what's going on in New York? Ready to send it?
Send.
I'll send it.
Okay, because we are sitting on the edge of the Pacific Ocean, a place where even Verizon doesn't work, and we were able to send a text message as if this car were smack dab in the center of Los Angeles.
Billy said, a monkey that can speak no evil, smiling pile of poo, nail polish being applied to fingers, extraterrestrial alien, victory hand. But
back to the car itself, this is kind of the only way you can get it. There's like the basic one, and then this one has a bit of stuff in it, but you can't get a sunroof or any of that kind of stuff. Or like the limited model, you can get like leather and even heated seats in the back. Can't do that in the Eco. I guess I can sort of see the logic of that, but being that dynamically this is a better package, I would challenge them to say, well, why don't you at least test it? Now that brings us to, I would argue, probably one of the big reasons why I wanted to share this car with you is this is more of a preview for a car that is coming. In about a week, I'm going to Las Vegas to drive the Elantra that you and I want, which is an Elantra Sport. That one is going to be 200 horsepower. That one is going to have a full-on regular 6-speed manual transmission, and none of this, well, you only get the manual and the base model, but most importantly, that one is going to have a fully independent rear suspension. So you and I, in how many Hyundai episodes, even in Mazda episodes, I give you the spectrum of driving dynamics for these C-segment cars, and I generally put Hyundai sort of towards the bottom. They've gotten a little bit better over the years, but definitely closer to the bottom where Mazda and Ford are up here. Apparently, they're listening to us in these discussions you and I have. Oh, look, a Porsche 914 and a Mini behind it and a Prius C behind that. Anyway, apparently they're listening to us here. And they're saying, hey, if we want to go on roads like this, does Hyundai really offer anything? And the answer right now really is no. And this Elantra Sport, I'm very excited to drive because how many times have I told you in these episodes and now these new Genesis episodes that Hyundai is a car company that scares the shit out of every other car company because they do things like make their own transmissions or they have their own steel factory. And here they're finally coming into a market where the Civic and especially the GTI have owned for so many years. And Hyundai, while they have really no standing in that market at all right now, the Elantra is an incredibly credible competitor in that C segment area where, like, when I first started doing this, which was 7-8 years ago, and I'd be at like cocktail parties, hey, I'm looking to get a commuter car for my sister or for my mother, I would say, hey, go look at the Hyundai and the Kia, and people would laugh at me. But now I say, hey, go look at the Hyundai or the Kia, and people are like, actually, I did take them to look at it, and they like it, or, that's a good idea. So the perception has changed in the normal person's purview of they would take these cars seriously. But now the question is, are people going to take them seriously in like the hot hatch or that performance car segment that like the GTI completely dominates? That, you and I are going to unpack that question in about a week from Las Vegas surrounding SEMA. So I don't want to pose that question to you guys right now. So we'll just put a pin in that and come back to it later. But I do want to pose a question as it relates to today, and that is Elantra ECO versus regular Elantra. And my question is not just which one would you choose, but I want to know why you would choose those cars and specifically what you would do with it. Like, I would like the Hyundai Elantra ECO because I want the fuel economy and I like the transmission. Or no, I would want the regular Elantra because I gotta have me the leather and the sunroof and all that kind of stuff. Basically, I'm looking for a focus group here that we can share with Hyundai and say, look, the Elantra ECO could stand on its own with a sunroof and perhaps a little more gingerbread in there. Get it? And you know what? For added good measure, let me know what region of the world you hail from. Let me know in the comments below or via our social media. MotoManTV, all one word. MotoManTV, all one word. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And with that, I want to leave you with two things. Number one, you should make sure you download our fancy new mobile application, which you can download for free at Apple iTunes and Google Play. We have a couple of new things coming up down the pike on that. Oh, and by the way, we are now live on 5 international airlines. And number two, a fun fact as we come back around the Palos Verdes Peninsula. Yes, this area is known as an incredibly fancy area of Los Angeles, but a little known fact, great hiking. Like, most people come to Los Angeles and they go hiking on like Santa Monica Mountains or out in Malibu, but here you can drive to the top of the peninsula. It's like a big like hill butte thing that jets out into the Pacific Ocean, and you could park your car up there and you can hike all the way down to the ocean, but not just the ocean. There are these tide pools that the ocean forms down there. It's called Abalone Cove, and it's something out of like of a movie. It's really a stunning natural area of this general landscape of Southern California. One of the few areas that you have these tide pools. They have them in Orange County as well. Anyway, Abalone Cove, you basically, it's just down there on the other side of that parking lot, and you can kind of hang out there during the day, and there's a little park here, and then you just hike back up the mountain. Really one of the best places to visit in all of Southern California. Anyway, until I see you next time with, well, maybe not next time, but next couple of episodes, we're going to have the Hyundai Elantra Sport with a manual transmission from Las Vegas. Until I see you then, bis später.